Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome. Today, as promised, we are going to be talking about what's with all the coaches. What is going on there? So, what's with all the coaches? Here is a listener's guide to deciding whether coaching is right for you. We have a companion guide here that you're welcome to get at unabashedyou@gmail.com. That's our email. And then you can also go to the website and contact us through there. But we're going to go over a few things and see what you think. So before you hire a coach, you want to start here. Coaching does seem to be everywhere these days. Life coaches, business coaches, health coaches, confidence coaches, relationship coaches, and the list goes on and on and on. So, how do you know if coaching is something you need or just another thing that people are trying to sell you? This guide will determine whether coaching could be a valuable investment in your next chapter. So, stop and think about it. Do you currently have a coach in one of those capacities or other? There's so many different kinds. You probably don't, or you might have one in a certain area. Now, think about all the people you know in your circle. How many of them have coaches? Probably not that many. Why are there even coaches? Well, we know that there's therapy, and when therapy first started, that was kind of the Wild West of therapy, and now it's a very standardized thing that people understand better. The same is true with coaching. So let's explore a little bit. Here we've got part one. Am I stuck or just comfortable? So you want to answer the following questions honestly. Yes or no? I often think there has to be more than this. I often think there has to be more than this. I have ideas and dreams I have been putting off. Ideas and dreams I've been putting off. I feel certain about what's next. I feel certain about what's next. I know what I want, but I struggle to take action. Struggling to take action. I keep repeating the same patterns, same patterns. Fear, self-doubt, or overthinking often stop me. Fear, self-doubt, or overthinking often stop me. I feel like I've lost touch with who I am, losing touch with who I am. I spend more time thinking than doing. More time thinking than doing. I wish someone would help me sort through my options. Help sorting through your options. You're answering all of these honestly because this is all about you. You don't have to turn this in, anything, nothing like that. I feel called to something, but I can't quite define it. So having a hard time defining that next thing. Reflect on those questions, statements, and where you fit in. If they're yeses or nos, you get to decide which area of your life feels the most stuck right now. So that would be part of whether you're stuck or comfortable, whether you've settled or you're going for it, whatever it is, something for you to enjoy, something for others to enjoy, service, enjoyment, both all rolled into one. I don't know. Part two, coaching might be right for you if you don't need a coach because you're broken. You might need a coach because you're ready. So, coaching might help you if you want clarity. So that's things being more clear. You want accountability because you need that extra little spurring on by somebody on the sidelines. It might help if you want confidence because sometimes we have some good ideas, but we might be uncertain about how to move forward, or we let some of that fear or that shame or that guilt stop us. So How can we get more confidence? We might get some more confidence through coaching. Coaching might also help if you want support while making a change. So here at Unabashed You, we specialize our coaching side of things is after the big thing. Whatever that big thing is, it could be a death, change in relationship, change in job or retirement, or the kids have, empty nested, what or turning 50 or turning 60. You're ready. You need to make that change and you want some support. You might need coaching if you want someone who asks better questions than the ones you're asking yourself. Are you asking yourself questions that are helpful? And coaching might be helpful if you are ready to take action. You don't want to just be in the bud. You're ready to expand. And this is not about being someone you're not. This is about being you, but being more you, being the expanded you, the less fearful you, the less ashamed you, the less guilt-driven you. It's the expansion of you, who you are, not somebody you're not. Now, coaching might not be the right fit if you want someone to make decisions for you, if you want a quick fix, if you're not willing to do any kind of work between sessions. I mean, typically there's a little something to do, something to think about, ponder, maybe a little something to read. Those are helpful things. Those are things that help us learn. Learning helps us grow. It starts with awareness. We can't change anything we're not aware of. We become aware, we learn, we try, we grow, we continue, repeat, repeat, repeat. Coaching might not be right for you if you aren't willing, if you are looking primarily for therapy or mental health treatment. There are a lot of good coaches out there that specialize in particular things, but they are not therapists. So let's be clear there. Those are two different things. And yes, they do have some similarities, but they are different. Okay, so that was part two, which was coaching might be right for you if. Part three, what type of coach might you need? Now, I'll share myself. In the beginning, I had an Instagram coach because I didn't know anything about it. And I just like, oh, what is this? And how do I do it? And why do I do it? Okay, I had an Instagram coach for a while. Then when was first starting, I then had a podcast coach who helped in that realm. And now I have a coach training coach because I want to learn to be a better coach than the one I already am. So I have used a series of coaches. I have found every experience helpful, and I certainly don't regret any of it. I do like to learn. I like to learn. I like to challenge myself. I like to grow. Maybe you're the same. Maybe you want to expand. So, what type of coach might you need? Part three, a life coach that helps you create clarity, getting clear, confidence, purpose, and momentum. Sometimes we just need that little something to kind of get us going. You might need a career coach. This helps with career transitions, job changes, retirement planning, professional growth. Okay, career coach. Business coach. A business coach helps entrepreneurs, I never am good at saying that word, grow businesses, improve systems, and increase results. That's a business coach. And of course, there are different programs and coaches out there that sort of combine things, or there's a little bit of crossover. What about a health and wellness coach? That's a very popular kind of coach right now. They help sustain and develop habits around health and well-being. A relationship coach. A relationship coach helps improve communication and relationships. Makes sense. A faith-based coach helps, and I would have to put myself in that category. Well, I don't hit you over the head with with God. it's very clear if you listen to me or you do any of the reading that I put out there that there's definitely that element there. So a faith-based coach helps align goals, decisions, and personal growth with spiritual values and beliefs. And so you get to pick, upon reflection, which type of coach seems most aligned with your current season. And again, all kinds of combinations. So in part four, questions to ask before hiring a coach. A good coach should welcome your questions. I do recall one time being on a whatever they want to call it, sales call to sign up for this coaching program. And it was one of the worst experiences I ever had. We were on the phone for well over an hour, hour and a half, heading into 2 hours. And it was so rigorous and so painful. And I felt stomach sick so much of the time. I don't even know why those questions had to have so much pressure behind them. It really was quite unpleasant. And I know that I will never show up that way. I want to show up, let's have a conversation. What do you think? What do I think? Is this a good fit? And if it's not, that's okay. There will be no hard pressure sales. I don't like it. I won't do it. End of tirade. Okay. So the questions asked before hiring a coach, part four. As we said, a good coach should welcome your questions. So ask, who do you work with? Most coaches have some kind of specialty. They might be very broad and general, like, oh, anybody that's wants anything, maybe they're not specializing. And then, but many do, like here, we're 50 plus faith-based women, and then eventually want to create something for the men. So that's my area. And so another question would be, what results do your clients typically experience? Which results? So maybe you're at a health and wellness coach and you're wondering about, losing a particular amount of weight or eating a certain way. Is there some kind of result that you're looking for? Or what kind of results do their clients have? And what does your coaching process look like? I mean, how many weeks? How long? What are the expectations? And are there, steps, modules? I mean, what are we doing here? How long do clients typically work with you? Again, this can go back to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and then a certain amount number of months or a year-long program. I mean, the variety is out there for sure. And then what happens between sessions? I'm trying to think of a better word than homework. The connotation of homework, growth work. I mean, something you get to work on this stuff outside of our sessions because you get to, and you're learning and you're growing, and those are good, positive things. And yes, you probably happen to do it at home. Anyway, different word. Okay, what are your expectations of clients? I don't know. Do you have expectations? Does this coach have expectations? Show up on time. If you can't come, here's the replay. We'd love for you to participate, whatever the expectations are. And then how do you know if coaching is working? That's a good question. How do you know if coaching is working? Because of the thoughts you're telling yourself, the feelings you're now having, the strategies and goals that you are planning on and implementing. Is that part of how a coach would know or you would know that this particular program was working for you? And then finally, what makes your approach unique? How are you different from anybody else? That's a good question too. So, those are the questions you can ask. And then I like this part because this is trusting your gut. There's that voice in you that's telling you how you're reacting. Like how I reacted to that sales call. I like the initial one I spoke to, but the secondary person I spoke to, I should have, well, no, not that I should have. I could have listened to my gut more. I could have listened to my gut more because it was just so very unpleasant. And then, do you feel respected? Did your conversation with this person, did you feel respected in it? Did you feel heard? Did you feel safe being honest? Because that is very important that you feel like you can be vulnerable and safe within the confines of a session or a conversation. And then, do you feel encouraged rather than pressured? And we all know how I felt about being pressured. Do you feel encouraged? And then, if the answer is no, you got to keep looking. It's kind of like trying on a great pair of shoes. They might look really good, but when you put them on, they're like, it's not quite for me. They're not quite right. And then you move on because it's important that it feels good to you. That's really important. So here's some red flags in part 5 to be cautious if a coach promises guaranteed results, or if a coach uses fear or pressure to get you to buy. Okay, we already talked about that. I've talked about that a lot. Or if a coach claims to have all the answers. No one does. If the coach makes everything about themselves. If a coach cannot clearly explain how they help people, so they're kind of vague and general, but it's not really spelled out. Or dismisses your concerns or questions. Like, again, you're not feeling heard, you're not feeling respected. You don't want them to dismiss any concerns or questions that you have. So, part 6, the cost question. A lot of people ask, is coaching worth it? A better question might be, what is staying stuck costing me? I think that's a really good one, the staying stuck part, because if you Google the top 5 regrets of the dying, you just read those and you're like, I don't want any of those on my deathbed. I just don't. So if you don't want those, now is the time to make things happen. How do you make things happen? One of the ways out of many is hiring a coach. So consider the lost confidence, consider delayed dreams. Consider missed opportunities. Consider settling for less than you want. Consider another year of saying, someday I'll do that, someday. So, in reflection, what's one thing you've been postponing because you're waiting to feel ready? What's that? What's that one thing? And you don't even have to tell anyone, although there's more power when you write it down, and there's even more power when you say it to someone else. Food for thought. Part 7, your next step. You don't need to have everything figured out. You only need enough courage to take the next step. And we talk about that a lot on this show, being brave enough to take a next step, whatever that might look like. It might be a little micro step, and that's okay. That's great. That was more than you had done. So we're on the road to expansion here. So here's a journal idea for you. If fear were not making the decision, what would I do next? Or as I like to say, who would you be if you weren't afraid? That's something to really consider. Think about that. So here's a list of action steps that you can take. What's one thing you can do in the next 7 days to move forward? And I will have to tell you that when we schedule things, they're far more apt to happen than if we just keep it out there. Someday I'll do that. Someday. I crack myself up. No, put it on your calendar. And if you end up not doing it, put it on the next week's calendar. It's okay. The only one seeing it. So there's no reason to feel any shame around it. You're human. You get to not do it sometimes, and sometimes you do it. But the doing it, you're progressing. You're moving forward. So, one action step is to schedule and what we call a discovery call or a consult call or a mini session or a conversation. It goes by lots and lots of names, but basically what it is you're just chatting with one other person typically, and they're getting to know you a little, you're getting to know them a little, and then questions are asked and answered, and you decide this is for me, or you know what, I'm going to think about it, or no, it's not for me. And that's okay because it has to be okay. It has to feel good. And it's a green light, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if you're a little bit scared and a little bit excited. That is a green light. Another action step is to research coaches. Like if there's a particular area that you're wanting, you can ask other people, you can get online, Instagram, a lot of podcast hosts like myself are coaches also. Another action step is to journal about your goals. Like, I want to play the guitar. I want to be able to play one song before the end of this year. Or I want to learn Spanish. And I know I'm not going to be fluent, but I'm going to learn 50 vocabulary words in 3 months. I mean, you make the goal doable and you're much more apt to do it. Another action step is to talk with a trusted friend. This is where, you confide in them. You say, gosh, I really want to do this thing. And I'm nervous about it. I'm scared about it, but I'm also excited about it. And if they're your people, they're going to be right there on board. How can I help? What kind of encouragement do you need? All that good stuff. Another action step is to pray about your next step. Lord, what do you see me doing right now with the time I have left, however long that is? I want to expand for my own fulfillment and then also perhaps to serve others with the nudges that you've given me. So this is also in service to Him. And the last action step is to take one action you've been avoiding. So that thing you keep putting off, get it back on the calendar and get her done. Even if it's a little micro thing, that's okay. A final thought, the goal isn't to hire a coach. The goal is to become the person God created you to be. We do talk a lot about that here. Our tagline is become all you were meant to be, all you were meant to be. Not someone else, you, but more you, as much as possible. Sometimes the journey requires courage, sometimes it requires support, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to admit you're ready for what's next. Ah, and there it is. If I had said no to all of this, I can't even tell you what I would have missed out on. And I want you to have that for yourself too, saying yes to whatever that thing is. And it is important because you're honoring yourself, which honors others, which honors God. It's just this beautiful cup that flows and keeps going. Anyway, thanks for listening. What's with all the coaches? An introduction. And if you want your own listener guide, your own companion guide, reach out to us at unabashedyou@gmail.com or hit us up on the website, unabashedyou.com. All right, y'all. Take care.